Hello, my name is Caitlin, and I'm going to do a brief tutorial on how to use a Swivl application on the iPad with the base. When you get to the Swivl application and it's signed out, you have options to sign in. You can sign up, sign in with email, or sign in with Google. In my case, I'm going to use my Google account. Hello, here I am. Now, first thing to note is at the very top, you will see that there's the little red mark. That means that the base is not actually connected to the iPad. Now, it's important to know that this is a very important cord. You will need this to connect the iPad to the base or your smartphone or whatever. Now, the one I have is meant for an Apple device, but that does not mean that that's the only thing available. There's also ones for Android. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. Pardon my armpit and messy office. But once that is plugged in, you'll notice it'll start connecting. And of course, you have to turn it on. In the front, there's two lights. There's a light by the power button. Once that turns green, you should be good to go. It just connected, and that light just disappeared. Now you see the message, Swivl marker is not connected, just popped up. That's because one of these is not actually turned on and connected to the base. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Right now, the green one is my primary one, and later I can show how to change which is the primary. So to turn it on, just hit the power button, hold it down until you see the response of the lights, and that should be good. If you click on the little marker icon, you'll see that the green one is fully filled in. That means that it's actually connected. But you see the red one where it's just kind of an outline, that means it's not fully connected, which you have right here, and that's because it is turned off. Now through here you can monitor the sound waves and see if they're peaking or not, and you can also check the battery of the markers. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the second one so you can see that fill-in interface change. Okay, that just turned on. Look, all connected. Perfect. Now, of course, if you want to start recording, all you have to do is hit this little record button and get going, or on the markers themselves, you can just hit record. And then it'll start following and recording the sound. Now, it is helpful, especially if you have more than one marker, to have the microphones kind of distributed throughout the space, especially if you're trying to record other things. It's very helpful, and also to make sure that you have the main tracker on yourself as the main presenter, speaker, instructor, whatever you're using it for. You can also pass the markers between people, so if you have like a group setting or you're doing an interview and you want to have whoever's asking the questions being, the sound being recorded and the footage being recorded, that's also an option. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and show you the next interface. You're immediately taken to this brief menu where you can choose the name of the video. So I'm just going to do test video, nothing too fancy. And then I'm going to say preview and trim, because let's just say I want to start like just a little bit later in, maybe I don't want all of it at the very end. Great. One thing to be aware of is all you can do is trim it, so that means you can cut stuff out from the beginning or the end. You cannot cut stuff out from the middle in this interface. To do that, you'll have to go through other steps of downloading the footage from Swivl itself and putting it into a software that allows for that. Once you're done, hit the check box in the upper right hand corner and you get back to this interface. Once you're done and ready for it, go ahead and hit done. And then I'm going to go ahead and exit out by clicking the X right here. And this is where I'll see the list of all of my videos. So you'll see the one I just created, and you'll notice to the right of it has a little cloud icon and says removed. That means that it has been synced to the cloud. That means that I can access the footage from my Swivl account online, and that means that it has been removed from the device locally, so that it doesn't take up space on the device you're using. Notice that there's a share and edit option. So edit will just take you back to the interface you got at the very end where you can trim the video and change the name. But then you can also share it. Now there's 3 different options. I like to use either direct share or share web link because it's the most convenient and it uses the email account that's associated to the device. Now this can get a little tricky if you're sharing devices, but make sure that there is an email account logged into it beforehand, and that'll be a separate video later as well. That's kind of the gist of everything, but one last thing I want to point out is it's really important in the bottom left-hand corner to be aware of what account is logged in. You want to make sure that you're logged in under your account, because if you are not, then it'll be hard for you to access your footage in the future. It's also good to make sure you log out so that no one accidentally starts recording on your account, or if you don't want anybody seeing your footage. So go ahead, it's good to log out and make sure it's ready to go for the next person. That's it for now, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns.